Rummy back in your video. Hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, as it would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, this should very well be one of the last parts of the series. There might be there might be like just three more parts. This will mark, actually just this video makes it the longest part, at least, What If series that I've made. I think it's actually the longest in general as well, as most of the parts in this series have been like 30 minutes. Yeah, so take that how you will. With that being said, this is Rummy, and yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we can now get into the recap. In the last part, we basically ended off with a few things happening with Sakura. She took out Sasuke, brought him into Naruto, went to the underground city. We also had a bit of developments in the underground city. Also, if you're curious about the capital's name, as I'm not sure if I got any questions about that, but if you are curious about the capital's name, it is known as Naruto. Let that set in. Now, with that being said, the capital Naruto is also referred to by many other different names. In fact, some people call it High Tech. Others people call it the Great Naruto City. And there are a variety of other interesting names that don't even relate to Naruto in any way. Other people also call it the capital of Uchiha, because it's the place where you can find the most amount of Uchiha. Now, with that being said, Naruto has actually managed to get every single Uchiha except for two being Sasuke's grandmother and grandfather, into the underground city. Why, right? Well, it's actually quite simple. First of all, how? So, they're actually being more, I should say, abused in a way, because there's so little of them now. And so, even though Naruto's been able to release, I guess you could say, release the hatred that people have towards the Uchiha, there's still some people who still hate them. So, the Uchiha are still getting abused in a way. So, Naruto used Danzo to even help the Uchiha further, help his clan, help his kin, help his family, even if you want to call it that. But they're not necessarily related through blood. So, let me explain. Naruto used Danzo having all those Sharingan to indicate that he killed all the Uchiha, except for two Uchiha who it's not even known if they have the Sharingan. So on that day, just as there were, say, 30 Uchiha still walking around in the village, there was then 0. And every single Uchiha was underground. And now, it has been 4 years, so the Uchiha's population increased drastically. Naruto actually told them to increase their population drastically, as it would increase the village's power, and also for other alternative reasons, right? Like the war. So, with that being said, how many Uchiha are there? I'm just going to put this number out there. It's kind of big. But there is 1,000 Uchiha. Let that sit in. Whew. How we're going to explain this, we're just going to say that there's more females than men. So in some cases, the men of the Uchiha in this timeline take on, say, 2 to 3 wives. So they have, say, 2 to 3 children, if not more, as we do see some Uchiha with 2 children, like Fugaku and Mikoto. So, yeah, that's that. With that being said, we would not only see that, but we would also see something else, and let me explain. So, the Uchiha are much stronger, of course, right? But we would also see a growth in Uchiha getting the Sharingan. It would seem that they had an increased gene for some reason in the recent years, where there were now many 4-year-olds walking around with the Sharingan and doing amazing things. Now, one thing that I want you guys to know about this underground city, I already explained to you how it's basically all ninja, but this is also what I wanted to say. That the underground city, it's not completely all ninja, but everybody there has power. I kind of explained that. Sorry, I had to crack my knuckles a little. Flawless stuff. Also, it's raining. I can't really control the weather. I wish I could snap and, it's sunny. but I just can't. So you're good. So yeah. But with that being said, sorry to sidetrack. The Uchiha specifically all have their own training rooms inside of their homes. I want you guys to think of this not as some say like lab area, like the underground city, I mean, or as some say like little like place. No, I want you guys to think of this place being bigger. And I say bigger and I mean it. Bigger than the Leaf Village. Way bigger, in fact. Maybe 2 times it, right? That's a lot of space, but yeah. And it actually goes to say every person in this village has their own house. So all of them have their own housing with everything they need. For example, if it's a family of 3, they have 3 bedrooms. They have 3 bathrooms. Just an example. If they don't need 3 bathrooms, then they only get 2. But it's just that kind of thing. So it's also a thing where people like they all have training rooms. So it also does take up a lot of space, and it does explain, because we kind of see all the Leaf Villagers kind of compact. In here, they have a lot more room. They're more free. Their mental well-being is in a much higher state, right? With that being said, yeah, I can now get into the bones of the juiciness, whatever you want to call it. So, we can now fully get into the what if, even though that wasn't really a recap. We last left off with Naruto being stabbed by Sasuke's Chidori spear. Naruto would look Sasuke in the eyes. "Now why would you do that?" Naruto would speak, grabbing the Chidori spear, as he would say. "So, is this how much electricity you can generate? If so, it's quite honestly pathetic." Naruto would crush the electricity in his hand, canceling it out with his own electricity. Electricity would wrap around his hand as Naruto would then stare down Sasuke. "So, you caught me off guard. So be it. Now what will you do, Sasuke? You eager boy." "Boy, you say?" Sasuke would activate his Chidori. Sakura sensed something was off, as she would quickly activate her own Hanadori. That do was not necessary, but you know. With that being said, he would rush in front of Sakura. He also realized Sakura was in the room. Sakura would quickly get in front of Sasuke, slamming him into the ground and piercing into his pancreas. Sasuke would cough up blood as Sakura would slap Sasuke across the face and then would punch him in the gut. This would cause Sasuke to feel so much pain that he just sat there like, say, a frog, just sitting in his area. Actually, earlier today, great story. I know it's a what if, but great story. I saw a little frog and he was just sitting there, so that's why I want to incorporate it into this beautiful what if. And he didn't move. I walked past him. He sat there, and yeah. I don't think I'll see any more frogs, though, because it's winter now. Now, with that being said, it's winter where I am. Naruto then looked at Sakura. He then looked at Sasuke, and he then looked around the room. He would then ask Sakura a question. "Where were you training today?" "Oh, I was training in your training room." "I see. I think..." Naruto was thinking to himself. "Well, usually you enter your training room first, and I told you to, and you did enter it, so that would make sense, but what made you go into mine? Everything there is useless to me. It feels like I'm at the same power level, or just level of strength. They do not have power levels, but it's just a statement. Power level, it's like the strength, like her strength. Not like a power level from like Dragon Ball Z, like 1,000, 2,000, 1,000,000, 200. Yeah. I see. So you tried out my materials or weights and stuff like that. Well, how did it go?" "Well, put simply, I was able to do it quite good." "Quite good? Pretty confident." "Yeah. I saw your increased strength. You've been getting a great feel for it, haven't you?" I'd say you're close to my physical strength. Really, Naruto? Yes. Now, great job in subduing Sasuke. I have a question. Attachment. I realized that you did like Sasuke when you were younger. What about now? Well, I got the recognition I needed in him saying that I'm not the same Sakura. So, if I'm honest, I don't like him in one bit. Alright, well that's alright with me. Actually, that's what I prefer. Naruto then thought to himself, and you guys can comment whether or not you like this or don't like this, but he actually likes Sakura in this timeline. Not Hinata, as many of you may have suspected. Trust me, she will still end up with somebody, but it's not going to be Naruto. With that being said, it might actually be Sasuke, but time will tell. With that being said, Sakura would then smile at Naruto, as she would then look down at Sasuke, stomping on him, just to make sure he was kept in line and didn't try to quickly run away, or wasn't also, faking, because Sasuke could be, just say, faking his injury, like him being so injured. With that being said, Sakura knew her strength, so she wasn't going to hit him more. It could actually kill the boy, or kill Sasuke. I shouldn't say boy, but you know how it is. With that, Naruto would then smile. Everything's going according to plan. Now, Sakura, I'd like you to speak on my behalf. Everybody knows your face. Everybody knows your role in the village. How you help people. How you give people things. For example, I heard through the grapevine that the other day you actually donated 1 million Rio to the needy. Well, you're right. I thought that deed would go unnoticed. Glad somebody realized. Many people realize, Sakura. You don't understand how much of a great help you are. I am? Yes, you're an amazing help. An extraordinary help. I think you're one of the greatest people that this village has. The things you do, they're so very special. Well, now are they? Now, you're going to attend a sort of live speaking area. Recently, I built an actual platform that goes over the village. All villagers can hear me from there, no matter who they are or what they're doing. Even those with hearing problems can hear. So, as long as you use your talking voice, as you are now, everybody will hear you. And I just want you to say that we are preparing for something so extraordinary that every villager in the village will get a notice, but there will be an evacuation shortly, within the next few weeks. That's all I want you to say. But also reassure the villagers. We can't make them feel, scared. We can't make them have doubt in the system. We can't make them have doubt in their Kage. I love this village just as much as anyone else. Naruto does actually mean this. He's actually kind of gotten attached to the village. But they cannot be scared. You must tell them that everything is under control, and the village, as well as the Hokage, will protect them if anything happens. But they will be evacuated. And everything has already been assigned. In the usual evacuation spot, there is already now beds for each person, rooms of their own, bathrooms of their own, food of their own, books, things like that of their own, toys for the young of their own. Sakura would nod. Is that all, Master? Master? All these names. I'm just fine with Naruto, Lord Fifth, Hokage, Kage. But Master's not too bad. Even Sensei would be fine. Yeah. Oh, maybe Senpai. Okay, Naruto, you're stretching it a little. Whatever. My stupid fantasies. Now, Sakura, that's all you need to say. Alright, Naruto. Senpai. Naruto would be humored by Sakura's remark. Sakura was kind of just humoring Naruto. With that being said, we now switch to the perspective of Obito Uchiha, the one and only. With that being said, Obito Uchiha had taken note, I should say, or took a note of Naruto Uchiha. I'm just playing. With that being said, I am in all serious, being for real. Obito did take note of Naruto and his strides as being a Hokage, all those things. He even, in a way, envied Naruto for being Hokage, a role that he once admired so much. And with that being said, he wasn't really sure of where Naruto's alliances and that kind of thing allied, or went, I should say, as two clones of Naruto's showed up to actually not let the Three Tails be taken. Yeah. With that being said, he wasn't able to reveal his identity in this fight because he was with another Akatsuki member, and he was kind of trying to be Toby, I should say. With that being said as well, who did he save? Well, the Three Tails. Naruto saved the Three Tails. He also saved Gaara when Data tried to go after Gaara, and he also saved the Two Tails and the Eight Tails. But they did manage to get some of their chakra. What do I mean by this? So we do actually know that you don't need the full Nine Tails. You just need fragments of the Nine Tails. How did they get these fragments? For example, they didn't actually have the full Eight Tails. They just had a tentacle. My bad. They didn't have the full Nine Tails. They had the Ginkaku and Kinkaku brothers. So how is this even going to be possible? Well, it's actually quite simple. All Obito, I should say, had to do was ally with Kabuto, which then allowed him, and sorry for that little squeak, which would then allow him to reanimate people. He then reanimated the previous Two Tails Jinchuriki, Eight Tails Jinchuriki. We already know the Eight Tails Jinchuriki can't be reanimated because it's actually happened, as well as the previous Nine Tails Jinchuriki and Three Tails Jinchuriki. Now you might say, why didn't they just limit the risk and just reanimate all the other tailed beasts? Well, it's actually a very simple, and sorry, I just had to crack my knuckles there. Flawless cracks. Flawless. With that being said, it's actually quite simple. The reason why that even happened is, or why he even wants to go after the full Biju, I should say, is actually just because it makes his transformation a whole lot stronger, and we know that. We know that if you just get like a small piece of the Nine Tails, or Eight Tails, or Seven Tails, Six Tails, Five Tails, Four Tails, Three Tails, Two Tails, One Tails, then it's not going to be as strong. Now, he's actually been able to get an even stronger version of his 10 Tails, I should say, because he has all of the full versions now by getting the reanimated states, if that makes sense. Now, with that being said, even the Nine Tails portion is a lot stronger because in this case, the Nine Tails isn't sealed into two individuals. He just had to reanimate Mito Uzumaki, and it was as simple as that. With that being said, the Ghetto statue would then be completed as Obito was just waiting to, I guess you could say, become the Sage of Six Paths. But he wanted to do it with the war so that he could reanimate Madara, and Madara could see everything that Obito had been able to accomplish in about 12 to 8 years, give or take, to that much time, right? So, with that being said, he just wanted to amaze Madara with all of his recent progress. And so, Madara would also be reanimated, but he wouldn't be woken up until the day of the war. So, Obito would... How is he gonna, spread the war that this war is gonna begin? Well, it's actually quite simple. Naruto already knew, due to Itachi being in the, Akatsuki, kind of in the Akatsuki, kind of not in the Akatsuki. All he did was basically make Itachi go back into the Akatsuki, and in Itachi, he was already technically in the Akatsuki, so it was pretty easy. He didn't have to, lie. All he had to do was, say, I'm back. Somebody asked where he was, and all he did was just say that he was stopping by to see his brother. And showing who was boss, basically. With that being said, he would also say that he eliminated Danzo, Shimura, but Naruto Uzumaki took credit for it. We already know that Naruto actually killed Danzo himself in a public execution, but yeah, you know how it is. And they could check out within information because it's actually true Danzo was killed, but they just didn't know by who. With that being said, they would all accept Itachi back into the group. So Itachi, all he had to do was just get the information from like the other members and would get the information like actually given to him by Obito himself and Pain. Obito and Pain are now equal in their roles in this timeline because Obito's not trying to be like Toby, at least at this point. Before, he was trying to be Toby when Naruto sent clones to basically negate him from getting some of the Jinchuriki, because they did try to go after all the Jinchuriki. Now, this means that, so the 7 tails, 6 tails, 5 tails, 4 tails, they are all, well, for the sake of it, they're just dead. They're plain out dead. And so, no coming back. Yeah. But this does mean that the 1, 2, 3, 8, and 9 tails, so Naruto, and if you want me to name their names, Yugito ni Gaara Kazekage, we'll just call him Yagura Karatachi because that's his name. Then we have Killer Bee, right? And then we also have Naruto Uzumaki, or Uchiha. Naruto Uchiha. With that being said, they are all alive, so it's actually pretty good. That's about 5 to 6 Jinchuriki that are alive, about 4 to 5 that are dead. So it's not too bad. It's actually pretty good, you could say. But with that being said, they would have a summit. What do I mean by that? There would be a summit called because so many Jinchurikis have been gone missing and stuff like that, right? Which is a unprecedented situation that never happened. Usually when a Jinchuriki dies, it's because of their tail piece breaking up. So there was a 5 Kage summit called. With that being said, Naruto would actually call this summit himself. He knew something was going to happen, so he wanted to be prepared. He brought with him Sakura and Kakashi, as you are allowed to have 2 Kage subordinates. Kakashi and Sakura would then be there, as Naruto would tell Kakashi to wait outside the room, just in case, as Sakura would come in with him. All the Kage would sit at the table, as the Mist's Kage would remark that having such a young child with Naruto, or with him, might be a hindrance, as Naruto would smirk. She's just as strong as I am, so I think I'll be alright. The other Kage would be baffled at Naruto's words. By that, I just mean the old Kage, or the oldest Kage there, I should say, who is Onoki. Right after he said, wow, he would also say that his back hurts, to mask it. Also, the other one who was very surprised was Gaara and A. But the ones who weren't surprised were Mei, who was a little intrigued, actually, as well as the other Kage in the room. Naruto, who was surprised that he even had to say that. Or wasn't surprised because he had to say that, my bad. With that being said, the Naruto would then sit back in his chair as the 5 Kage summit would kick off. Naruto would immediately speak as they would address many problems. First of all, they started light, addressing, say, land, stuff like that. And Naruto would try to fix it all. He would give deals, arrangements, stuff like that, to try to calm down all the Kage, make everything alright. Of course, there were already, like, previous feuds. They always feud every single time they meet, so it's kind of just like that. And there's nothing Naruto can really do, but he's trying to be the best Kage there is. He's trying to basically, in a way, you could say, help them. He's trying to help everybody, in fact. So, with that actually being said, or with that being said in general, they would eventually get to the topic of the Jinchuriki. Naruto would immediately address that. The Jinchuriki. I know, it is very unfortunate. 2 of us Jinchuriki actually sit here. As you can see by Gaara's wound and how he has bandages across his head. He was injured by one. Would you like to say who injured you? His name was Deidara, Gaara would say, as Naruto would continue. You see, this is an unprecedented manner that I will no longer allow to happen. To those who've allied with me, I've been able to save their Jinchuriki. Mei, I'm glad that we scheduled a meeting right after the 5 Kage Summit, because if it weren't for us meeting that day and arranging for our villages to have treaties, well then, the 3rd Jinchuriki, otherwise known as the 3 Tails, Yagura Karatachi, and the former Kage of your village, he would be dead. I see. Young Master Yagura. Young Master Yagura? Well, his appearance speaks for itself. I see. I'm actually not too sure on how old he directly is. But I did also figure out that you were injured in combat, were you not? My clone relayed to me that you fought valiantly with it. Many explosions a man named Toby threw at you. And he was accompanied by Deidara, the same one who went after Gaara. I'm sorry that you were injured, and that many of the villagers spread rumors. I even heard through the grapevine that Yagura may have had to step back up as Kage again. Don't worry, those are just rumors. I see. Well, I'm glad you're in perfect health. Or, I guess you could say health, Meitorumi. Yes, what about you? My work's been exhausting, but I think I'm alright. Now, back to the current problem. Onoki, how's your back? As bad as usual. Hey, is your lightning chakra at bay? Mm-hmm. May, if somebody invaded this room, would you be able to use lava style on them? Of course, May would say. Naruto would then look at Gaara. Your sand's already quite active, is it not? Yes, it is, Gaara would say. Alright then. Now, I'm going to continue with what I was saying. Yukage, listen. I know that there is a man named Obito Uchiha. He is the leader of the group known as the Akatsuki. The Akatsuki, Onoki would say. You see, Onoki had actually been making dealings with the Akatsuki. We already know this. We already know a few of the Kage were. As Naruto would ask Onoki what happened, or what's wrong. As Onoki would explain that he's actually been making dealings. You see, Naruto had even been able to turn Onoki into a more honest person, or into, I should say. With that being said, the other Kage would be infuriated as Naruto would stand, slamming his hand into the desk, like so. Please. The sounds would be heard all around. Tsunamis even, waves, a like sound, as Naruto would continue. I don't want to hear any disruptions. No, I don't want you to be angered at him. And I know it's hard. It's hard for even me. The fact that Onoki, this man who's another Kage alongside us, we are working with the group that's tasked to kill me, Gaara, and even the likes of the 8 tails, 7 tails, 6 tails, 5 tails, 4 tails, and all of the above. The fact that you would work with them, Onoki, it does truly anger me. But us Kage, we cannot falter. We must work in unity. Do you understand? Naruto's words would touch all of the Kage in different ways. As Naruto would propose a question. Can we unify? Even after this war, I want us to continue to be a great nation. No, great countries, great nations, plural. Forever and ever. Is that okay? Is that possible? Can we do that? Can we? And even after all of us in this room die, I want there to be our successors, people who we train, people who know what we want, that can continue to help our nations thrive together. Okay, A would say. But let's suppose that we were to, say, I don't know, ally up. What would our name be? Our name? Are you really concerned with a name? Well, fine. I'll choose one. Great nations. No. Our name on the battlefield will be the Allied Shinobi Forces. And, in normal context, we'll all be known by our own names, with the unity of us being still known as the Allied Shinobi Forces. Or the Allied Nations. Either or. I see. Well, that ain't actually too bad, I'll say. Yeah. Now, any objections? I'm in, A would say. I'm in, Meitorumi would say. I'm in, Gaara Kazekage would say. I'm in, Onoki would say. And then Naruto would smirk. And of course, I'm in as well. Naruto would slam his hand onto the table as they would all smile. Now, what's our first course of action? Well, I haven't been done explaining Obito's plan. Sorry for that little squeak. Now, I know that he will start a war. What he entails to do after that, or during that war, I'm not sure. I see. I think I also was going to say something else, but I feel as if I've been a little sidetracked. I'm so excited, though. My blood's pumping. I kinda want to fight someone. Fight something. I usually get like this when I'm really ecstatic. I see. Yeah. Now, with that being said, Onoki, I know you guys may see me as a little arrogant. An arrogant young brat. But I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope that we can all see eye to eye as Kage. No matter our age, Naruto would stare at Gaara and then Onoki, the youngest and oldest in the room. Or second youngest, because I believe Gaara is actually older than Naruto, technically speaking, by like birth months. But still basically youngest, because Naruto and Gaara are technically the same age. With that being said, Naruto would continue. I want us to be unified. Both through age, race, sex, color, everything. I want us all to be able to look at each other and say that we are equally as strong in our own ways. Like May, you may be better at, say, I don't know, Kekkei Genkai, the use of Kekkei Genkai, that is, than, say, I don't know, somebody like me, or Onoki, or or something of the sort. And vice versa. I may be better at using chakra. You may be better at ninjutsu. Hey, Gaara, you might be better at doing jutsu. There are so many things that we all have strengths in, and we need to understand that. Now, as for our first course of action, we must wait for Obito to enter first. I see. Well, alright then. Naruto and the rest of the Kage would sit in the room, waiting for Obito Uchiha to appear. With that being said, a noise like so would be made, as swirling sounds would be made. A sound that's similar to what I just made, but also a like sound, similar to when the Rasengan is starting to be activated. They would all then wait in the room as Obito would appear. They all looked prepared for battle, or it was just the start of the 5 Kage summit. Obito really couldn't tell. All of the Kage would then lift an eye, looking at Obito. Even Sakura was pushed up against the wall, just waiting, along with the other Kage subordinates. Though they were waiting for different reasons. They were outside of the room, so they didn't actually know what was happening. They even thought that the Leafs Kage may try to do something because he has one subordinate inside, while all of them are waiting outside of the room. With that being said, Obito would then bring out his great speech. The one that he did in the Naruto Storm games, as well as the anime. I believe season 10 of the Naruto anime, if I'm not mistaken. On Netflix, that is, at least. I'm not sure on other devices. With that being said, all of them would listen to his crap, his bullshit, if you want to call it that. Sorry for my language. For some of you who may be young, right? With that being said, Naruto would smirk. So you plan to start a war? Did you ever consider the fact that we already may know? Did you ever consider the fact that us nations can work together? Did you ever consider the fact that we will beat you? Beat me? Yes. Obito behind his mask was gritting his teeth. Naruto's supposed to be on their side. In theory, that is. Unless he didn't care about what Madara taught him. How Madara raised him. And at this point, Madara's really taught him many things. And Naruto loves that. Naruto loves Madara. Madara is basically like his father. Madara is his father. But even with that being said, He can't just listen to everything Madara says. And even in some of his teachings, some of the things that he abided by, as a engine-like sound would be made. As Naruto thought about this, his thoughts would be disrupted. I see, Naruto would say. You see what? Obito would ask. That sound. You're preparing a jutsu, aren't you? It kind of went and then woo. Perceptive, are you? Yes. That must have been you preparing a jutsu, was it not? And now the jutsu's only gonna activate. Let's wait. Onoki, or A, either one. Could you cover it when he sends out this jutsu? I'd like to actually continue my conversation with him. Yes, Naruto. You're the leader. I'm the leader? Oh, I thought that might have been Onoki, but alright. Now. So, Obito. Question. Go on. What's gonna be your main power in this war? Ninja? It can't be. The Akatsuki? Too weak. So, tell me. Whatever. But I want you to know one thing. I'm not on your side. You can try to make the case to Obito, but it won't work. What's this? It was Naruto. I should say Naruto's tailed beast talking. Oh. You're saying that even if I make the case to him, it won't work? You won't believe me? I'll say it again. I'm not on your side, Obito. Huh? I never thought... No. You know the connection we have already. I've already allied with them. I'm on their side. Huh? All the other Kage would look at Naruto with intrigue. What is he talking about? Could he really be an ally of Obito? Let me explain again, and you can tell Madara whatever you want, but he won't believe you. I am not on your side. And even if my father, even if he thinks I am, I'm not. I won't listen to his orders. And I've actually grown pretty fond of everything, in fact. In fact, I love my village now. And there are people I really, really, really care for. Naruto would look at Sakura and would think of Kakashi and literally everybody. Ino, Shikamaru, Kiba, people who he had become friends with as a Kage. Every single villager who he had personally sought out to meet. The babies that he held in the village. The children that he taught. At one point, for a whole year, in fact, during the 4-year time skip, he had actually taught many children who had graduated today. I don't mean on this very day, but I just mean, like, who are now, like, full ninja. With that being said, Naruto would sniffle. He would then sigh. Say it once more. These are the people I love, okay, Obito? Do you know what that means? Do you know what to love means? We're gonna have to have a long talk, Naruto. You think so? Well, we'll have the talk right here. No. On my terms. Tss. A sound similar to that would be made as Obito would try to absorb Naruto into his Kamui dimension. Naruto would sit down as both, and he would just continue to stay where he was, as both Onoki and A would charge towards Obito. Onoki would then tell A to stop as he has a plan, as A would smirk. Go on, old man. Show me what you got. Onoki would then use his particle release on Obito, who thought nothing of it, until the attack started to come towards him. He would then realize the amount of power this attack had in it, as he would quickly tell Naruto that he'll be back. He'll be back to talk. Naruto would shake his head. I'm not talking with you. We'll talk on the battlefield. That's the only way you'll talk to I, Naruto Uchiha. Alright then. Whatever you say. Obito also couldn't play off his Madara Uchiha thing where he's like saying he's Madara because Naruto was addressed Obito as Obito multiple times during the meeting. It just didn't make any sense for the gig, I guess you could say, to fool anybody else. With that being said, though, Naruto, as well as the other 5 Kage, would all smile. I guess the 4th Great Ninja War has been declared by a moron, they would all say in tune. And with that, they would go to all of their own villages, as they would then, and only then, I guess you could say, get their villages ready for war. They all would go to their own lockdown areas, the Leaf being the best, as the people in the underground city would all come out, most of them that is. The ones who had power but weren't necessarily fighters would stay in, like some Uchiha who were old, or some Uchiha that didn't fight anymore, that kind of thing. But they would still stay out just in case people, like Zetsu and stuff like that, attack the village. As we know that Zetsu would attack the village, so basically there are still some ninja who stay back. But the Leaf had amassed a great force of ninja. In this timeline, the Leaf has a much bigger population, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there's a lot more ninja, just stuff in that. Or stuff like that. So this is just the number we're going to make on ninja. For all the villages, actually. 100,000 Leaf Ninja. 120,000 Stone Ninja. Why 20,000 more? Well, I actually believe that there's a lot more Stone Ninja than there are, say, any other village. As we've just seen so much more Stone Ninja rapidly. It's like the war, the one, like Minato kills 1,000 and they're just scared. I don't know, man. Like, the war ended, yeah, but, like, I don't know. We've just seen a lot more Stone Ninja rapidly than we have, say, other nations. Other nations ninja. Now, next up is the Mist. They will have the lowest at 40,000 ninja. Next is the Cloud, which will have the second lowest at about 60,000. As they have a lot more stronger ninja than other villages. But yeah, less village, or just less village ninja overall. And the second, or actually third highest in this case, behind the Leaf is the Sand Village, which has about 90 to 80,000 ninja under its rule. We do see a lot of Sand Ninja as well. Now, with that being said, the war would then begin, with each division going to its assigned areas. Ninja from the Leaf, ninja from the Stone, Cloud, Mist, and everywhere else would prepare to fight. Zetsu would be slaughtered, but so would ninja. And at this point, Naruto would stare valiantly at what was now Obito with one Rinnegan, and the Akatsuki at his side. With that being said, they would be scattered around the battlefield. But the Akatsuki and Obito Uchiha were a threat. No. A force to be reckoned with. With that being said, this has been What If Naruto Was Madara's Son Part 11, I believe. Sorry, I just cracked my finger right there. It kind of just happened. Flawless crack. Now, this has actually been a pretty long part, so if you made it to the end, I love you. No homo. If you're a guy, that is. Yeah, what if you're, I don't know. Anyway, with that being said, this has been Rami X. I appreciate all your support. At this point, I believe we hit 14.7K, or we're really close to it, or we're even above it, maybe. But either way, I appreciate all the support, and thank you. This has been my longest series so far, so I hope to keep it running, right? And with that being said, Rami X out.